guys, DJ Bobby Light here. We're going to chop up some breaks today in Bitwig Studio, specifically the Hot Pants break, so we can make some sick ambient jungle. You're going to want a copy of the Hot Pants break. If you don't have it, you can find it floating all over the internet. Just go to Google and type in Hot Pants break. A good place to check is the Dogs on Acid forum. People have posted some good versions of it. And for this example here, I'm working in 163 BPM, and a lot of the versions of the Hot Pants break you'll get will already be stretched out. So this one I have that I just dragged under the timeline is 175 BPM. So if we just play it as is in context of the song. Okay, so it's a 1-bar loop that repeats 3 times. And so what I want to do, or what I like to typically do, is get this to loop perfectly within 1 bar. So in Bitwig at the top, I'll come to the draw loop and just change it to 1 bar. And I'll enable the transport loop, and I'll just play it from here just to see how it sounds. So we're getting a little bit of a double kick in there. So I think the plan is to cut that out and then stretch the sample a little bit. So first thing I'm actually going to do is select the clip, and on the left in the inspector panel, which if you don't see it, you can just press I to bring it up. You're going to go to mode in this audio event, and sometimes in Bitwig your setting will be, there's a setting that can set this to automatically stretch audio when you drop it in. I typically turn that off and have it just bring it as raw. And I'm going to select cyclic here for that nice retro stretching inspired by classic samplers. So I'm going to select that, and I'm going to double click my break here and come into the audio editor, and I'm just going to do a cut there right at the end of 1 bar and delete anything after it. I'm going to come back here and bring that in, and now we want to get rid of this kick at the end here, and I'm going to do just a very sloppy cut here and just get rid of the thing. Delete. Okay, so if we play this now, right, there's that little gap at the end. So what I'm going to do now is hold Alt, drag in the top right, and just drag this clip out to fill out the full bar. So now if we loop this, cool. So I think that's a pretty good loop here, and again, I like to test this out first. So just loop it in the on the timeline, see if it sounds right with the original pattern, and then you're ready to chop that puppy up. Now there are a bunch of different ways to chop it up. I don't think there's a right or a wrong way. So what I like to do is the multi-sample method sometimes. You can do a drum, extract all the individual slices to a drum machine. The multi-sample is a little more old school, and I think it gives you some more leadway with programming your breaks. And so if I pull up the clip by just double clicking on it, I come into the audio editor here, and on the left you'll see this onsets button. And if you select that, Bitwig will automatically detect the transients and place an onset into here. And so in between each onset is basically a different hit. And what you could do is extract this to a drum machine, or we can send this to a multi-sample. I think each one has its pros and its cons. I'm going to do this to a multi-sample, and I'm actually not even going to alter these onsets at all. I'm just going to leave them as is, because we're going to alter them within the multi-sample. So what I'm going to do is right-click on that clip and select Slice to Multi-Sample. You're going to select Bounce and Slice Pre-Fader and slice at onset. In this drop down you have some different options, so I could slice at 16th notes, 8th notes, or we could use those onsets that you create, and it'll even tell you down here how many slices it's going to create. Again, it's kind of irrelevant because we're going to modify them in the multi-sample. So I hit OK. A new track is created with a sampler. It has a multi-sample, and it throws a clip on your timeline that has all the MIDI notes that were chopped out and makes up the break. So if I mute the audio break, actually what I'm going to do is drag it into the clip launcher here, just so I have it on standby in case I need to chop it again later. I'm going to remove it, and I'm going to right-click the track and select Toggle Active, so it's deactive now. Now, when I come back to the break here, so we have our multi-sample. If we just play it, right? And I could even select the MIDI clip, and if I move these notes around, right? So each note here is a different slice of the break. Okay, so let's go into the multi-sample. I can just double-click here, and this screen comes out now. Now, on the left, you'll see a bunch of different names for different slices. So all those onsets were blown out into here and laid across the keyboard. So if I select this first white key here, you'll see beneath this, we have the full samples waveform. And between those yellow bars is where that onset zone was. So that's the little slice we have on that key. So if we play that, is that a C1? On our keyboard, it'll play that little slice. Now I could drag this all the way out, and if I hold the keyboard, it'll play the full slice. Okay, so if I then select this next sample here, which is the black key, you'll see we have this little slice here. But what I'm going to do is drag that out to take up the full sample. And what I'm doing here is I'm basically just altering the start point for the break. So instead of chopping out each individual element and then trying to piece together something with all the MIDI notes, I'm going to have each key just start on a different element within the break and play the full break. And I found that that gives you a little bit more leeway, as mentioned earlier, when you're programming the break. Keys aren't just going to cut off, right? You're not going to get a short like tss, and then get some clipping, and you got to spend an hour trying to dial it in. This is a very easy and fun way to get it in, and I think you can play it a little bit better as well on your keyboard. So I'm going to continue on. I'm going to select the third note here, drag this out to take up the whole keyboard. I'm going to start this one on the snare here, and I can actually zoom in. Okay, let's go to this next one. Same thing, drag it out, and let's just rinse and repeat. So I am going to finish a couple more of these. And I'm going to just delete these other ones for now. So on our keyboard, these are the keys we can play that will alter the start time of the sample. And we can come in to our MIDI notes now. So if we play this, it's going to be all jumbled up. That's fine. So what we can do is come in here, let's delete all of these, and let's look at just that C1. So since this starts from the beginning and plays to the end, we could just loop this, right? Or we can shorten that. There you go. So again, you have that leeway there where you can kind of drag out those notes, alter your start points, get your patterns in, and then you just repeat that puppy across in your timeline. Maybe you can duplicate it and have an alternate version here, maybe like a little turnaround. And you can modify the pattern on that one. There you go. You got your sick break. Hope you guys found that helpful. If you did, leave a like, comment, subscribe. All right. Love you guys. Peace out.